So we're back joined with the great Billy Wicks, and he's going to talk to us a little bit about the top wrestlers and the top, not necessarily wrestlers, but tough guys that he would face in the carnival.
Yeah, well, in a carnival, you always had your tough guys, the local guys, you know, and if they were wrestlers, most of them would blow themselves up in the first 2-3 minutes. You know, they get in there and go full speed ahead, and it's pretty difficult to go full speed ahead in 2 or 3 minutes. If you ever wrestled amateur, you'll know what I'm talking about. So, the big secret of wrestling actually is learning how to relax and wrestle at the same time. And it's hard to teach that. This is something that takes a lot of training to really figure out. But most of the time, they go for a headlock. You big tough guys, they want to grab you around the head. So I'd give them my head, and that's, of course, Henry Colin helped give me a couple of cauliflower tin ears, they called them. So I'd give them my head, and while they take my head, I'd reach down and grab a toe hold on them and tap them out with a toe hold. And back then it was, you know, really verbal. I give up, and that was the end of a match. You know, the matches were only 5 minutes long at the most, and they were offered $1 a minute. And of course, you know, nobody ever stays 5 minutes in the ring with a good hooker. You just can't make it that long. It's just that's tough. But the Dirty Dick Evans was what you call the Bally Man, and also an old-time wrestler, and he would always intimidate the guys in the crowd. Say, "Where are you tough guys out there walking around the Midway? Go home and have a few beers and slap your wife around and think you're tough. Come on up and challenge my man here." And of course, at that time, I started out wearing a mask, and then we're out there in the Midway on a Bally platform, and everybody's walking around, and they see us standing up there, and I wore long black tights at that time with a mask. And this is how I made my money. Anywhere from, we usually work on a Friday, Saturday, and a Sunday night, and Saturday afternoons and Sunday afternoons. And we get anywhere from 3 to 6 shoots every time we'd open up the tent. And my first match in the carnivals was in Malacca, Minnesota, and I made $10 for the weekend. And I slept in the back of my 1936 Studebaker, and I had made $10 wrestling the whole weekend, and I thought I was on top of the world, buddy.
Now we're gonna quickly, because we have probably about a minute left here. Just quickly tell us, who was your toughest opponent that you recall facing on the carnival wrestling circuit?
Oh gosh, Henry Colin.
Did you have to face Henry in a match?
Well, no, he worked for the carnival, but he was my trainer. But we were both on the stand up on the Bally platform, and the tough guys would usually pick on Henry, basically because he was an old guy. He was probably 60 years old and about 160 pounds maybe, you know.
And Henry, I know Red Bastine told me that Henry Colin was an amazing hooker, an amazing shooter. And
he told me, he said, and what he taught me, one thing that I've tried to pass on to the Johnny Husky School guys, is the wrestling doesn't start until you both get on the mat. You know, you very seldom ever see one wrestler beat another wrestler on their feet. You got to take them down. Well, Henry never worried about being taken down. I could take down Henry Colin every time I locked up with him. But after we got on the mat, that's when the wrestling began.
What was Henry Colin's? Did he have one signature move, or did he have was he a leg wrestler, or?
Well, he was basically a neck cranker guy with a side double wrist lock. Everybody calls it a Kimura, and Mr. Kimura, whoever he was, wasn't even alive at that time. And
Mr. Kimura got the hell beat out of him by Mr. Ricky Dozan. A lot of people
right,
know.
But a side double wrist lock, and all these ring announcers, Joe Rogan, I think it is, and Mark Goldberg, they call it a Kimura. Well, That's an insult. It's a side double wrist lock.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
one of the most effective holds there is out there, because you can take a side double wrist lock, you can turn it into an arm bar, you can turn it into a top wrist lock. It's just one hell of a hold.
Great. Well, we're going to talk next about the training of police officers and the formation of the Husky Submissions School. Thanks, right.